Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a single graph with the GraphPad Prism program. First of all, you need to open the application, and after that, you need to decide which type of graph you want to make. Most of the cases, this depends on which type of data you have, but if you are not really sure about that, how to make or what to make, every time the program shows you a small preview picture about the graph what you will see on the left part. Here you see different categories, for example, and tables, like the XY, the column, the grouped, survival, parts of the whole, and every time the picture will change regarding to the selected type. This time I'm going to work with the grouped because I have two population, the females and the males, and I want to make a graph between the Hungarian and the English students. So before you jump in, you need to decide whether you are going to go with an empty datasheet or you want to practice with some of the tutorials. I'm going in an empty sheet and I need to decide I'm going to plot a single y-values where I have more repetitions. In my case, I have 5 repetitions, so I need to click here and I need to change the number of the replicates which will be distributed side by side is a subcolumn. So if you click on create, then there will be an empty datasheet. As we decided to have 5 repetition, the single column is it distributed as the following. On the left part, you see the name of the data table. Down there is a graph which refers to the data. And if you would make some analysis, it will help if you categorize everything here and it will appear here. So what we need to do is, first of all, to give a name to the data. So right-click, rename the sheet, and let's say this is the number of the students. After you change the name of the datasheet, the program automatically changes the name of the connected graph too. But we need to paste the data from the Excel file or from the original file that you have. For that, I'm going to select all the datasheet with this click here, and then I will just paste the data. As you see, on the left, these are the female students. I have male students in the group, and the Hungarian and the English one as well. Now, the program is going to ask me which type of graph I want to use. So if I click on the graph, I need to choose. Because I choose the group type of datasheet, it automatically gives me the grouped type of graphs, which has individual values representation, summary data, heat maps, three-ways, or box and Y lanes. This time I go with the summary data, and I'm going to use this setup, which is the so-called interleaved bars. But before I decide and click OK, from the list, I have plenty of options to see or to decide what to plot. I can show just the mean value without the standard deviation, or I can use DSD or even the SEM values. But as you see from the list, you have many options. It depends on your supervisor or it depends on your research what you want to choose. So this time I go with the mean and with DSD. And in the preview window, it shows how it would look like. But that's fine for me. If I click OK, now the graph comes in the middle. And as you see, it's a bit small. So that is one rule when you are editing your graph. You need to go on full screen, which means that you need to fill the whole canvas. To making the graph filling the whole canvas, you need to click in the white part with the right mouse button and then resize the graph and click on to fill the page. After that, still you have many free spaces, but it takes time and some clicks to make it fully distributed into the white parts. The first thing you need to do is giving a title to the axis. I'm pretty sure that this would be easy to understand, So not every case is it's really necessary to have an X title. If you want to get to remove this, then just click in it with the left one and then just backspace and click somewhere else. The axis Y title is more important because that exactly classifying which kind of values you want to show. So if you left click in and type the number of the students, that would be super informal and like beneficial in that sense. So click in it and type the number of the, well, wait, my program already shows that number of students, number of students, number of students. What is this? That means that the program automatically learned why you are using it, which means that I had typed this 4 times already, or let's say 5 times already with different setups. So this time I go with this one and I click somewhere else. So now I have the number of the students. That's the title of the axis Y. The problem with this graph is that it is not filling up the whole page. The legends are a bit aside, which is a problem when you want to publish this figure. So first of all, I'm going to resize the axis and repose, like I'm going to change the position of the figure legends. So first of all, I'm going to enlarge the axis Y by clicking on it with the left button, and if I continue pushing this, it is going to enlarge it. Then I'm going to move the graph to the bottom, and then I'm going to enlarge the axis X. I'm also going to change the position of the figure legends with the left click, and now I still have space here, so I'm going to enlarge the axis Y, or sorry, axis X. So after that, let's make this a bit bigger, enlarge it, but now my legends are in the figure, so it's not that good. I'm going to change the position of the legends. But then the question comes, it is really necessary to use the same title as the titles of the X and Y? No. So this time I'm going to remove the number of the students as the original title of the graph by clicking in with the left mouse button, and then backspace, and I click somewhere else. So I'm going to now define and refine the representation of the graph. Some of the biggest mistake while you are making a graph that if you are using a border and there is no, let's say, extra information regarding to it, it is not necessary every time. So now I'm going to remove the borders here, but that border is also there in the black one, but it's not really necessary. So if you double left click in the body of the graph, then it is going to show you the editing surface of the graph bars. Here, in the case of the datasets, you see that there is a list. Change all the datasets or change it separately. This time I go with the change all the datasets because I want to get rid of this border, which now it says it's 5 points, but that's too much. I don't need that. But also, if you take a look at here, the error bars, it is also really thick. So if you click on the list, just click on 1 point. Now click OK. And now I think it's more decent. So besides, we need to change the thickness of the axis too, because if it's too big or too thick, it would be a problem when you are making a figure. So double left click in the axis, and then the program will shows you the format axis surface. We need the frame and the origin, and then you need to have the axis and colors, thickness of axis, which is 3 points now, but I'm going to change into 1 point. And then I click OK. Now my axes are more sharp, I would say, or thin, but that's fine. What I can do now is to make this boldness out, or if it's really necessary, it depends on your topic and the research or how you want to represent. But in my personal experience is that if these are bold, it does not help everyone. So I'm going to change this with the left click, and I'm going to remove the bold, and also I'm going to do this with the title of these two graphs. However, now it's almost looks like it is ready. There is one thing, the title of the axis and the numbers are too close to each other. So if you want to move the title, you need to move the cursor until this double-edged arrow appears. And when it is there, just click with the left and then move it. That's how it goes. So now I think we are almost ready, but let's change the color of one of the bars. There are two options for that. The first option is when you are going to double left click in the body of the graph, and then separately you can change the color of the data sets. So I go now with the female students, and I'm going to change the color to orange, and then I click OK. But then there's another option to do it. If you right click in the column, you can just format this point, which means that just this column will be different colored, or you can change the entire data set. As you see here, you have pattern color, border color, whatever color you want, you can change. But be careful because the super striking colors or the super pale colors are not really good for printing or for representing your data. Now, I think we are almost ready, but I want to show you something still. If you double left click in the body of the graph and the data sets on the graph, let's imagine that your boss want to have a different order of the data. So here, this window shows you which data are represented. But if you want the male first, if you click on it and then you said like that should be up, then the order has changed. So that's so easy to make. And I think, yeah, these are the basic setups. This figure you can copy into PowerPoint or even you can copy into the Word document. That's up to you. But the thing is, you need to follow the basic rules of making a graph. So good luck with the next step.